It's finally here.
What's that?
I nearly said Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom.
It's been
Finally.
that long.
It's been that long. It's been freaking years.
Well, welcome back to the 128KV podcast, your weekly dose of all things gaming. And we are back by lack of popular demand to talk about the thing that Andy's been waiting for about 5 years.
And then kind of been indifferent to.
Yeah. But it would be remiss of us not to talk about,
Of course.
Zelda.
Yeah.
And what did you call it once? Tears of
Our Kingdom.
Tears of Our King. Tears of.
Everyone rips me for that.
Yeah,
like so hard. Who cares?
Who cares?
If you actually watch my videos,
Yeah.
I can hardly speak English. I say everything wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
Constantly.
just a spoiler.
Not as bad as when I was doing a video for a PlayStation, one of the new Need for Speed game. And in the script I'd written, the soundtrack was by...
No. Who is it? ASAP Rocky, wasn't it?
That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it the other?
ASAP.
ASAP Rocky.
Yeah.
Who I've never heard of, which kind of shows my age, I guess.
The whole video.
And it said it like 3 or 4 times.
More than that, it was like every other sentence. And you were saying ASAP Rocky. And I think I edited that video. And I was just crying. I just left it all in. I was like, yep. And then I messaged you after going, yes, ASAP.
Oh, you could have phoned me and gone, AJ, can you just overdub ASAP?
That was too good.
No.
Too good. But, and spoiler with one of my videos coming soon on the 128 channel, controller review.
Yeah.
I say, and this has got Rumbo. I can't even say Rumble.
Rumbo.
So I left that in for
that
you.
action movie.
That's
Rumbo 4.
It's the knockoff. But anyway, we've been super I want to say super hyped for Zelda. We wanted to be hyped.
Okay, so it's been a roller coaster for me.
Has.
The
Yeah,
lead
me
up to
too.
this game coming out. I was super hyped. Everyone who, even if you don't like Nintendo, if you just like gaming, you're hyped for Zelda.
Oh yeah, everyone knows what Zelda is.
Yeah, I was hyped for it. And the first trailer came out and I was hyped some more.
Yeah.
And then randomly they did the gameplay release, like the 20-minute stream.
13 minutes, I think it was.
Oh, there you go. And that really deflated me because there was huge apparent performance issues that really filled me with dread. And then because I'm so fickle, they released another trailer and I got really excited again.
Yeah.
But it's here. It's out. It's been out for how long now? Well, it depends when this video goes out, I suppose, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's been out for a few days now.
It's been out for a few days, yeah.
Straight off the bat, its sales figures have been unreal.
Insane. So literally just before we started filming this now, Nintendo UK just released a statement saying 10 million copies have sold in 3 days. So it's been out for 3 days.
10 million copies.
10 million. Now, to put that in perspective, Breath of the Wild... Breath of the Wild...
Breath of the Rumbo.
Breath of the Rumbo. Rumbo's Breath has sold just under 30 million copies since it launched.
And that launched on the Wii U.
But I think this was Switch sales that I was talking about. So nearly 30 million copies since 2017. So 6 years, 30 million. Tears of Our Kingdoms is sold 10 million in 3 days.
That's ridiculous.
It's absolutely mad. It was like something like double the amount of Hogwarts Legacy sales already.
Seriously?
Yep. Launching sales, at least.
Yeah.
And there was some other statistic I had that I don't remember.
And other interesting facts about sales. But beyond its commercial success, which really, to be honest, it doesn't really matter to us, is actually the game itself. And which end of the roller coaster did it sit? Has it been the disappointment we feared, or has it been the hype that we hoped?
It's for me so far, at least, and I just want to say this before because I know people don't like spoilers. There's not really going to be any spoilers. I've only played just past the opening section.
If you're a regular viewer or listener of the podcast, you know that quite typically we'll buy games and play them for about 10 hours and then a new game comes along and we forget about the old one. So
exactly.
You'll never get any spoilers from us because we don't play long enough.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. But, it is the hype that I wanted it to be. And I think it helped that I had been deflated previously. Okay. So instead of being fully hyped this whole time, I was hyped. Then like you with that gameplay reveal, I was a bit like, oh man, I don't know about this. I mean, we did a whole video about it. We did a whole podcast. But because of that, I was a bit like on the fence of, what am I really going to think about this? And then when I loaded it up, which you can see the footage over on the 128 channel, I did a review on there as well. Well, like a first impressions thing. I hooked it all up to start filming it, and that was the first time I played it. I literally just hit the camera on, go. Just playing it on my Switch OLED, which is still beautiful. I love the OLED. And I started playing it, and I was grasped, like I was hooked from the second that it started. Just that intro scene where Zelda and Link are walking down under Hyrule Castle, and they find this dude under there, and it's like I was properly hooked, like far more than I was anticipating. And the music kicks in, like, oh man, it's so good. The music is one of the biggest heavy hitters. I know we're both musicians, so that plays a big point for us, but it really sucks you in, and I had headphones on as well, playing it for the first time. So it was, really, really, really got me. It did. It really did.
So what was apparent to me was that the problems that I was worried about haven't gone away.
No, they haven't.
So the issues with shadow popping and like flickering.
Yes, it was the flickering. I must admit, I've not noticed any popping. Like really?
Yeah.
Not that I can recall, like from playing, but the shadows do flicker really badly.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is that causes that. I don't know if it's like an anti-aliasing thing or what. But if you like stand somewhere and pan the camera around slowly,
that's when,
the shadows go like, you're probably seeing it now. I might dump some of the footage above, and it shimmers. Yeah. And if you're looking at the shadows and just keeping your eyes on it, it's really, really distracting.
Yeah, you were also saying that there was significant frame rate issues when you're doing certain like crafting or interactions.
So because of these abilities that you've now got in Tears of the Kingdom, you can fuse stuff, right? So you can literally just cut down any trees or get anything that's around and basically blob it all together with this green gloop, right? With your little zombie hand that you've got.
Weird zombie.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It was very strange. So when you do that, obviously you can make things huge.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a massive load on it. But even if you're not making something huge, even if it's just a few bits of wood and maybe like a couple of other things on it, you pick it up to like rotate it, or you can move it. So I could build a raft here and carry it miles, and as soon as you pick it up and start moving, then the game starts chugging a bit.
The only reason I bring it up so early is it's a bit like our emotions before the game, and how it was excitement and then disappointment with some performance issues, and then quickly overlooked because the last trailer was so story driven.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same is true here.
Yep.
That there's performance issues. There's those problems that you noticed in that Nintendo gameplay footage. They were real. Yeah. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. And
that's really interesting.
And I kind of condemn them for leaving it all warts and all. Do you know what I mean? Because when we watched that gameplay trailer, we were like, why didn't they like cherry pick better areas or whatever?
Pick the best bits.
Yeah. Instead, they were like, nah, this is what you get in. And we were a bit like, ooh, like, and now playing it, like you were saying, I noticed it immediately, like the first bit where you go outside on the like tutorial island bit, and I could see the shadows flickering. I was like, okay. And then like later on when I got my abilities and I pick stuff up and it starts chugging a little bit, I'm like, okay. But it doesn't matter. Yeah. You forget about it. The game is so engrossing and you're so intent on whatever you're doing. I forgot about it immediately. I noticed it and then went, I've forgotten because I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Yeah. And that's Nintendo all over.
I was literally just going to say that. Yeah. I think it beautifully epitomizes what Nintendo do, or at least what the Switch is represented. Yeah. And that is the bleeding edge, that high performance, just actually doesn't matter to us as much as quality gameplay. Exactly. Yeah. An enjoyable, fun experience, an immersive experience. Yeah. And they like Zelda is crafted so well as a story masterpiece that all else is forgiven. It doesn't matter. Yes. Yeah. In many ways, it's like playing a really great retro game that the story still holds up, so you just forgive all else.
Yeah, you overlook that the rest of it sucks. And that's the. I think that's, like you said, holds true with basically every Nintendo game. Yeah, like this, and Nintendo, I think, have done right in that they've never tried to compete with Sony or Microsoft. They've always just done what they do, They don't care. And that's because they're so focused on the story and the fun that they don't care if, it's not as graphically good, or there's some issues here, but it's so fun, you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
Whereas some games are so realistic and whatever, but then they're boring, or they're not very story driven, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I definitely think I've overlooked the issues.
Yeah.
Purely because the game is just so engrossing.
Yeah.
It really sucked me in. It really did.
Do you think that it is a setup for the Switch successor, the Switch 2, or as we're calling it, the
Super Switch,
Super Nintendo Switch?
Yeah.
Do you think, like Breath of the Wild was clearly a setup for it's going to be slightly improved but re-released on the next gen? Do you think this is it, or do you think they are so we don't actually mind?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's still doing really well.
I think because it's such at the end of the lifespan of the Switch, I still highly anticipate them to release a new one, or at least announce it next year. So I'm thinking 2024, they'll at least announce it for a 24 release, end of 24, or maybe early 25 release. That I hope that it's backwards compatible with just an update. But knowing them, they'll probably milk it and re-release it, just like the Wii U. I know it's a different system, but Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U, and then, look, Switch is out, let's release Breath of the Wild again, like a bit better. Now, I would love it to just be able to put my Switch cartridge in and just download like the next gen update. Do you know what I mean? That would be better. But I wouldn't put it past them to just re-release it.
No, they'll re-release it. Nintendo are great at
selling you the same thing that you already own.
Maximizing money from a franchise. And fair play to them, because when they get a heavy hitter, it's always really great. Yeah. It just is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's interesting. For those that are on the fence about it then, because not everyone is like massively hyped or hype boys like we are, would you recommend it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a no-brainer for sure. Like, and I know I'd even say, like, if you're like, oh, should I play Breath of the Wild first? You don't need to. I mean, they are always sort of self-contained stories.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild 1. Yeah, well, Breath of the Wild. But it's not like, it doesn't have a recap or anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, and if anything, it's just going off the premise that, oh, you've saved the world in Breath of the Wild. Now this is the next thing that's happening. It's not like part 2. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't go, what happened last time? Like, it's a brand new story. And it's set in the same world and whatever, and you've got some more abilities, So it's Breath of the Wild 1.5, DLC. But it's, you don't need to play the first one, really. Yeah. I would say you can just jump straight into this. Obviously, if you've got loads of time on your hand, you really want to get like immersed, then play Breath of the Wild 1. But I would say if you're on the fence, just jump into this because it's that fun. Yeah. And I'll talk about the like intro bit in a minute, but just from what I've experienced, which is very early on, I would just say if you think you like Zelda in any way, or just like open world games and you've got a Switch, definitely buy it.
The open world bit is an interesting point, because it is technically, it is an open world. You can go and do once you're...
Oh, you can go anywhere, yeah.
But the mechanics of that are slightly restricted in the nature of this style of RPG. So it kind of, I think it plays to us as our particular taste in gaming quite well.
Yeah.
Because I love the idea of being free.
Yeah.
But, and as we've said before on the podcast, I am a sucker for just show me where to go.
Yeah, just give me
because then I can just like enjoy it a bit more. Because I have that constant fear of missing the secret thing.
Yeah.
Constant.
I'm the same.
So it's going to take me hours to explore this area.
Yep.
Even in, when I think back to Crisis Core.
Yes.
It was very linear.
Oh, yeah.
And like the missions you go on were extremely linear.
Yep.
But still, it would take me ages to do any of them because I was going around the whole map.
Yeah, just not to miss anything. Yeah, and I'd be exactly the same. And that's kind of what happened with this at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you end up on the Sky Island and you can't leave until you've done all the missions there, basically. But obviously, it's still open world. Even though you're on like this set island, you can go wherever you want and do it in any order. You have 3 or 4 shrines to do. and you could do them however you please, but it still felt guided enough for me that I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, like I'm getting that kind of linear experience.
I can relax into this.
I can relax into it, but at the same time, I'm going, oh, look over there. I wonder what's over there.
Yeah.
So I'm going over there, which is nowhere near where I should be going. But then I find something else, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. But then I'm like, oh yeah, just over there's my main mission. That's fine. I'm not wandering so far that I'm getting lost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it felt very natural. Like it was a very well done intro, possibly the best intro to a Zelda game like that I've played. Very good.
And that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Where does it rank for you so far?
For the intro, it's miles better than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, because Breath of the Wild, you wake up in a cave.
What about, I'm going to say it, I'm going to put you all Zelda games.
Yeah, all Zelda games. See, it's difficult because I'd still say I've like in terms of fun, probably this one. You know, for the intros, because I always found Zelda games quite slow at the beginning.
Very slow.
Like they're pretty like, oh man. And then after like 10 hours, you're like finally getting into the game. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, all right, okay, cool. This one from the get-go, I was like, I'm hooked from the story because they just slap you in the face with it. There's no messing around. It's like immediate. Like, oh, this is what's happened. You're like, whoa, danger, you know?
Yeah.
And it was felt a bit darker and grittier, and I liked that. And then it's like, okay, here's your Sky Island. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to be around. Like, take Skyward Sword, for example. You're in that freaking islandy bit for ages, just talking to all the people and nothing's really happening. And then, oh, look, Zelda gets taken away through the clouds. And it takes hours before any real threat happens or anything like happens. You're just kind of bumbling along.
Literally going from person to person to talk to them.
Whereas with this, it's like everyone's dying, like you've got to sort it out, and you're like, whoa, like, you know, like it's crazy. Like Zelda gets lost, you get a zombie arm, like within like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, whoa, okay, something's happening. There's no like messing around. And then you are on this island and this dude's like, all right, okay, you need some power, like go do these shrines. And you're like, well, yeah, okay, man. Like, you know.
Still shell shocked.
Yeah, exactly. So
PTSD.
So you feel, it is. It basically is. So you're running around like paraplegic because your arms come off and you've got some zombie one attached to you. Yeah. And you're just like, what's going on? But there's enough to do elsewhere that I still strayed off the beaten track.
Yeah.
And was enjoying it. And you could spend hours on that first intro.
Spoiler time then.
Yeah, okay.
I know we said there'd be no spoilers. when I get to do the tutorial section at the start, is there anything that I need to find that isn't on the beaten path? Or did you waste loads of time for no reason?
No, well, there's...
Come on.
They're not spoilers because Koroks are everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the little seeds.
Yeah.
Like those kind of like dudes. I found a bunch of those.
Best description ever.
Yeah, that's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Waha, whatever they do. I can't think of how you do the voice, but you know, don't ask me. Can't even speak English, let alone Korok.
It's fine. They're probably there with ASAP Rocky.
Yeah. ASAP Rocky's up there chilling. But you can find them, and you find like weapons and stuff, and then obviously each shrine that you do, you get a new ability, because that whole bit is basically a tutorial.
Yeah.
But it's great because each time you get a new ability, you go, oh, I remember like when I was over the other side of the island.
Bit of a Metroidvania.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because it's like I couldn't get over there because I didn't have the ability. Now I've got the ability. I know I can go back there, and I can scale up there, or I can go there. Yeah, so I hadn't even thought about that. It is like a Metroidvania, that opening scene at least.
Open world Metroidvania.
Just imagine an open world Metroid game. That'd be insane.
No, I don't want to imagine it. Yeah. Metroid does my head in enough.
Breath of the Samus.
Oh, Samus's breath.
Samus's breath, yeah. Return of Samus's breath.
She's not in the suit though, yeah?
Well, depends. If she's in the suit, at least you can hear it like Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
So the whole soundtrack of the game is just her going...
I'd buy that.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is a bit Metroidvania-like, even though they're not like the main places to go.
Yeah.
It's just like side things that, you find a chest or whatever. But that's what I liked about it. And with these abilities, it makes you think, because you see a chest and you go, can't get that. What abilities do I have that might come in useful here? So I don't know if it's the way they wanted me to do it, but I ended up making like a 20-foot long bridge with loads of trees that I like. So environmentally friendly Link is not. But I hacked down as many trees.
Deforestation,
exactly.
just to get a chest.
Yeah, it was.
And it had nothing in
there's
it.
probably a ladder around the back, but
What was in the chest?
Oh, nothing important.
Yeah,
but, I just slaughtered trees and made this freaking ramp, and I went up there and I got it. I was like, yay! And you get that sense of achievement, even though it took you 10 years to chop all the trees down. But it was fine, and that's what I liked about it. Now, obviously, I've just got out of that zone, and you could breeze through it, do the shrines, and leave in probably like an hour and a half. I think I was up there for about 4 hours doing that, just like walking around in circles.
And that's why you never complete a game.
I know it is, yeah. And then I finally left that. I escaped like the Sky Island, and then I came down, and then it's a bit of you need to talk to this person because Link and Zelda disappeared. Yeah. So everyone's frantic. The Hyrule Castle's in the sky. There's stuff everywhere. All the monsters are back, and it's like, oh, what's going on? You rock up, and they're like, no, we need to find Link, and they're like, oh, you are Link, and then you've got to talk to some people. So I've only just come down to Hyrule, and down into the actual world. So I haven't really done much there, so I can't really say much. And that's why I was saying there's not much spoilers because I've pretty much only done the tutorial. But even just that immediately, really, really gripping. And that's why I think I like this more than other Zelda games because the other ones are very slow.
Yes.
Whereas this, and even Breath of the Wild, which was another open world, yes, you had the plateau, okay, but I don't want to say it was boring. It wasn't. It was great.
It was slow.
It was slow. You wake up in a cave. Oh, you've been asleep for 100 years. Yay. Okay, bye. And then you're left and you just kind of got to like bumble around and no one's seen you and you don't know what's happening. At least with Tears of the Kingdom, they slap you in the face with that story, like I said.
Yeah.
They pump in some great music, create immediate danger and sense of purpose. And then you're there, and then some other dudes there trying to help you. Like, okay, I'll help you get to Zelda. And it's just like, whoa, you're thrown in at the deep end. And I like that. It's really, really compelling. That makes me want to play it and see what happens rather than wait 10 hours just to get the story going. Do you know what I mean?
So do you think it's going to be the best ever?
Oh, I don't know. Possibly. I think I'm already liking it more than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And I did really enjoy Breath of the Wild. I did. I think that was an incredible game. But just immediately I'm having more fun with this because it's even more open. Breath of the Wild was like, wow, look at this huge open world game. But now you've got all these abilities where you can pretty much do anything you want. Like when I came down off the Sky Island, I walked past like where I landed, because you can land wherever you want.
Yeah.
You jump off the Sky Island and literally you can direct yourself to land anywhere. It's like playing Fortnite or something and jumping out. No, it is though. Like you can like fly down. And I landed on the floor, like in this like pond, came out, and right next to it there was like a sign that said building supplies for when we build your new house or something. So there was no purpose to it, but I spent about 30 minutes just arranging loads of logs and putting like planks of wood on top of it, like to make a little house.
So your OCD extends to Hyrule as well.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was like, someone's not finished their house here. Let me build this. And I didn't have enough building supplies, so I made like a shack with like holes in it. And Christina was like, that is not a house. I was like, it's fine. You just walk around the back, just walk in. It's like open plan.
It's a barn. Yeah. Barn house.
So
barn conversion.
I did that for no reason. And then I left it. Probably never see it again.
You'll never find it again.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just those abilities literally make you do whatever you want. If you could think of it, you can pretty much do it. Which
That's
fun.
exciting.
Yeah, it's fun.
And fun.
Yeah.
Like you say, fun. I'm excited now.
Yeah, I definitely recommend playing it.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Well, I guess, I don't know how long we've been.
I don't know.
25 minutes, look at that. That's a nice little podcast.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I haven't played enough of it to truly go deep into it, but maybe we'll touch on it again one day.
I think we will. Yeah, definitely. I just get this feeling from it now that it's going to be one of those legacy games. It's going to make a huge impact.
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm just so hyped by that final trailer. It made it look like there was much more going on than Breath of the Wild, and like actual dungeons.
Yep.
Which I've not like actually got to yet. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go.
Really exciting. If you got to the deep end with us, thank you. Make sure you rate the podcast wherever you listen to it. If you're on YouTube, you know what to do. There's buttons below, subscribe and all that stuff. And before you go, you can watch some more of Andy talking about, let's say, Zelda.
Yeah, you can watch my video here.
Yeah, watch his first reactions here, and probably another podcast or something down here as well. And until the next time, we'll see you next time.
Bye.